What do you guys want to talk about today? What do you want to talk about, Alex?
I do want to add one thing to the list that Aisha brought up. They had a conversation with one of her Mocha Moms group, I believe. What are interracial babies? Let's say Aisha, right, being a black woman, and let's say I was half black, half white. We had a baby. The baby would be considered black. If you had but
You
here's the
got one
thing
ounce
about,
of black in you black.
but here's the thing about that. Who made that label?
White people.
Exactly. So technically, my daughters, they're half black, half white. No different than half Italian, half Irish. But why is she considered a black person? Because
Why
that
shouldn't
makes
she be considered black? And
why
Simone,
is she hold on,
this is
hold
the
on.
conversation we just talked about. But go ahead.
But why isn't she considered white?
So can we make this the topic of today?
Sure.
Let's do it.
What color is an interracial baby in society standards or viewpoint?
Interracial
However,
baby can be a lot of colors, but we're talking about black colors right now.
nah, we're talking about all because it's the same thing with a white and a Spanish. If a Caucasian and a Mexican had a baby, that child is considered Mexican.
Okay. Who says my baby? Okay. What is the topic? What color is an interracial baby
considered?
Welcome to Shit Your Mama Should Have Told You and More. I am Remel, and my co-hosts are Alex and Simone. Alex is hailing from California right now, and it's early there. It's early o'clock. And we're going to talk about today. You said damn straight.
Damn straight.
What color is an interracial child considered? And Alex has a lot to say about this, and I have a whole lot. We all got a lot to say about this topic. So let's go. So, Alex, let's kick it off with you. What do you think about this topic?
Gee, why are we kicking it off with me? Just because I have an interracial baby, little girls? Does that mean I'm an expert on the subject? No,
it doesn't.
You know what? It's funny because, married a black woman, we have two beautiful daughters together, and a lot of people are like, hey, man, how's it feel raising two black girls? And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I'm also raising two white girls. Oh, yeah, but they're black because you're right. Honestly, you know what? I'm raising two girls, period.
Oh, you're raising two girls, but not
period.
Okay.
Period. Doesn't matter.
I'm such an interruptionist.
You can interrupt. I will steamroll you. I don't care.
Let's do it, boy. Don't do it.
No, look. You know what? Honestly, it doesn't matter what their skin color. My focus is raising the two little girls. Now, society standards saying, "Hey, you're raising two black girls." Well, actually, I'm just raising two children whose parents happen to be skin color happen to be different. That's it. And I think no matter what race half of the parent is it a Mexican, if it's Asian, if they're Caribbean, whatever, if you have any kind of black African blood, you're considered raising that type of child. Well, I think it's actually wrong because what it does, it puts people like me, it pushes me to the side. In a way, oh, you have a black daughter, you have a black. It pushes me, my skin color, my not culture, because there is no such thing as white culture. My youth, everything I learned is almost pushed to the side in a way. Because the way people are going to see her 15 years from now, black child. Well, I was raised as an Italian in Philly. Yeah, but you're raising a black daughter. Yeah, but I'm still raising a little Italian girl from Philly. Yeah, but she's a black girl. Where do we as society go? You know what? It's a child whose dad is white, whose mom is black. You're not raising a black child. You're not raising a white child. You're raising a little fucking girl who doesn't know that she's black and white. She knows her parents are black. Her mom's black. She knows her dad's white, but she doesn't grasp that concept of being an interracial child. So technically,
that's
she's not a black
guys.
child. Right. Absolutely. 100%. So like, we never talk about that stuff. We just want her to stay innocent and be a child and enjoy life, because all that shit's going to come down the line. But why are we as a society, white culture, which, to be honest, you guys wouldn't understand that part of it, why we as white culture go, hey, you, a white man, are raising a black child because your wife is black, or you, a white woman, are raising 2 black boys because you're the father's black, or you're raising 2 Mexican or 2 Asian because the parent is now. It's such a fucked up situation.
It is, but the reality is, and me and Remel were talking about this because I have personal experience being interracial myself. And that's actually a whole nother conversation that we'll have to get into at another time. But the reason why you have to, for me, you have to let your daughters know that you are a black girl, because when you go out into the world, you are a black girl. That's the first and foremost. You are a black girl. You are a black woman. Now,
let the church say amen.
Then
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
So then they're fair skinned. They have the light sandy brown hair. Then it's going to be, what are you mixed with? Okay. So that's the first impression. And then that's the first question. What are you mixed with? And then it's like, so you see I'm black, but then you see that I'm light skinned. I have certain features that are just like, but you're not just black. What else are you?
Oh.
And so for me personally, I'm Black and Hispanic, and then I did my ancestry and a couple other things, but I'm Black and Hispanic. And so the first thing I had to do as a child was accept that I am Black, because even that in the Black community is going to be difficult for them, because they're not going to always have the easiest time in the Black community. It's going to be difficult because it's like, oh, well, you're mixed. And I even got, well, you're not really black because you're mixed.
Yeah, you're not blackity black.
So I was like,
you're not black enough.
Yeah. So first I had to accept that, first of all, I am Black. And then as I got older, then the question was, like I said, what are you mixed with? What are you mixed with? So then it was like, okay, I was like, well, I'm Black. It doesn't matter. And so then I had to accept I'm Black and I'm Mexican. I'm Black and I'm Mexican. That's what I am. So in the household, it's not going to matter at all. They're not going to see themselves as Black girls in the household. I never amongst my siblings saw us as, oh, well, we're Black kids, or we're Black and we're mixed. Like, I never saw that in the house. But as soon as we stepped outside of that house, you have to learn who you are, and then you have to stand on it. And so you having a very strong opinion, like you really want them to understand that they're not just Black, they're also Italian. That's going to come into play as they get older, and they're going to be like, I'm Black and I'm Italian. Yes, I'm a Black girl. I'm Black and I'm Italian. But I've also come across, I have a lot of interracial family members, and when you forget that you're Black, that can also be a problem, because then that doesn't go well with the Black community. And then there's things that also happen just being Black naturally. You forget that you're Black, and it's just like, oh, I can't do that, huh? Oh, okay. Let me realize what everyone out there sees me as, because I can't move and I can't operate the way my non-Black friends, because I'm the only Black friend in my group, I can't operate and do the things that they do, because I truly can't when I'm out there. It's fucked up, but that's just what it is.
I you know what's so funny about what you guys are saying is that I'm sitting here as 100% Black, and I'm and I'm looking at it like, you know what? really it comes from this country's history.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and the problem is this: if you are as low as the lowest of whatever is in you, that is how that is determined. I'm just saying. So if you a white guy with a black with a daughter who's biracial, your daughters are black by this country standards. Now I can say they're biracial, and that's great, but being biracial is so broad and generic. If you look on any paperwork, if you were to fill out a U.S. passport, anybody fill out a passport lately? So they say black and white mix. You don't see that on there. Don't do it. It's not there. Black and Mexican mix. It's not there. It'd be
ethnically
like
ambiguous.
Black, it might be black. Well, but it might be black, not of Latino descent. But there's nothing like black and Korean, black and this. There's not enough diversity that is taught, that when people are filling out these forms and judging us, so you have to pick a side, and it's not against one or the other. But I'm going to tell you, when if I were you, Simone, or your daughters, Alex, I would never say, I wouldn't tell any one of them that I was white. I would say, I'm black, because when I show up for an interview and I say I'm white, even though I'm not discounting my white heritage or my Mexican heritage, I want them to understand who I am. And so, and then unfortunately, one of the big things is that sometimes you want to be Mexican, sometimes you want to be white, but the reality is, what do they see? And so, Alex, you brought up a really good topic about what color is interracial considered, but it's always the lowest man on the totem pole, in my opinion.
You just said something which is kind of strikes a chord where you're like, let's talk about my daughters. As they get older, they're going job interviews, and you say, well, I wouldn't say I'm white, I would say I'm black. Well, see, that's a disservice. I would say, you know what, my mom is black, my father is white.
But on that paper, you don't have that flexibility. They want to know.
I think a lot. I think you do have a chance to say other, ethnically ambiguous.
You can.
I think it all depends on the child itself as well. Because you have people say, "Hey, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black," and then it comes out being they're white and they're just trying to get scholarships and all that.
But do you also want them to say gender ambiguous? Like, do you I'm not? Oh Lord, I just said some shit. I don't want anybody to come for me. Oh, gender. I'm using this as an example. It's only an example. Don't take it there. I'm just saying,
get some popcorn ready.
When it comes to certain things, I know.
Get the popcorn out. Get the popcorn out.
Oh, don't drag me. I just want to know, do you also want them to be ambiguous about other areas of their life? And you're not ambiguous.
But here's the thing. 1 out of every 5 child nowadays is born out of what is considered a mixed household. Okay. And yes, decade ago, 10 years ago, 1990, 80s, black child. It was mixed race, black. But we got to come to a point, as you brought up in the beginning, it was America that said, that's a black child. That's a black child. America, if you have 1 ounce of black, that's a black child. When are we going to go, okay, you know what? There's a lot of fucked up shit from our history in this country. But when are we going to go, okay, you know what? We really are one group of people. Yes, no matter where the fuck we go, we're always going to have a sect of white people, a sect of black people, a sect of Mexicans going, you're interracial. You are not true to your skin color. You're not this. But the majority of us going to be like, look, you know what? Let's just fucking grow as people.
I love it.
Because at the end of the day,
you're living in a bubble.
At the end of the day, let's get a visual going. As if you think of a cartoon, we all bleed the same fucking color. We all have the same muscle structure base. I mean, shit, my muscles aren't the same as Shaq's, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I just feel like you're kind of living in a bubble a little bit, Alex, because in today's culture, your daughters are not going to be raised in that time. They're not, it's in their lifetime. That's not happening. I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. And I agree with every thing you're saying. It's just not going to happen because people are still too fucking racist. You got people walking down the street saying nigga, 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 nigga,
Oh, I
just
know.
because the skin is lighter brown. And then it's like, do you even know that I'm Indian or Mexican?
Oh, I know.
And you like, I mean, it's bullshit. So I understand where you're coming from. And I think what you're saying is very important and I love it. But I honestly have to say that if you think that in your daughters, and I know how old they are, in their lifetime, that shit's happening, that shit ain't happening. I'm just telling you.
I'm not saying it will.
They're
I'm not saying it
they
will.
still be black girls because when they show up in my office, let's just say I'm the nurse hiring manager. And either one of them shows up, I'm looking at the color of the hair, I'm looking at the features, and I'm like, oh, these two black girls.
Okay,
yes,
so
they're
the color,
biracial, but I'm looking at them as two black girls.
But you would look at the color of my daughter's hair, which her hair color is blonde, brown, and red.
Mm-hmm.
And you would automatically, because of her skin tone and the color of her hair, would say, "Oh, that's a black girl."
Yes,
Look,
and let me tell
I would
you,
probably no. And I have to say features, not just the
Okay.
hair color, features.
Yes,
I
So
would automatically
I'm not
in
saying
the category of black.
I have
biracial.
everyone that looks at my pictures of my daughter, they go, "Oh, the baby, they're mixed babies." 100% of the time. Okay, I'm not saying that, but okay, you brought up a great point. As a nurse, they came in and you go, "Oh my God, they're black girls." That's the issue. Because you, as a nurse, would automatically go, "They're black girls." Oh, they're interracial child.
So I will tell you,
They ain't gonna get no different treatment. I'm just simply saying that's how I identify them as like they're biracial. And I hate that, but that's the reality. And Simone, I'm sorry to cut you off. I know you want to have something to say, but I just want to the hell you waving at? Oh, the kids.
My daughter.
I just want to okay. I just want to say to you how the reality is out here. And it's unfortunate, but that's what we do. We're so fucking judgmental. We're such racial assholes. Maybe that's what we are. But if you think for 1 minute that your daughters are going to live in a world where that ain't going to happen, and I know you don't necessarily think that. I know you don't think that.
I'm not naive. I'm not naive enough to know that.
It ain't happening no time soon, boo.
Oh, I hear that, and I'm going to be quiet so Simone can give her say on this.
Simone,
but, you know,
say, girl?
It's
so, yeah, like I said, being interracial myself, let's just say I see a white man in the mall with two interracial kids. What do me, my family say with all of us being all mixed up? Look at him and his
definitely
little
don't think
girl.
he's stolen.
That's what we say. No. We say, look at him and his little black girls. That's so cute. That's what we say. We recognize it's a white man that has two black girls. We know they're interracial. We know, for me personally, I know you're their dad. My aunt is very dark skinned. Their dad, my uncle, is white. My cousins are lighter than me. They're pretty much your complexion, Alex. They're lighter than me. Literally, the only thing that separates them from being black and white, it's not their skin tone, because you can't tell about their skin tone that they're black at all. My cousin has blue or greenish eyes or something like that. When her hair is straight, the only thing that sets her apart is her full lips and her nose. That is literally it.
There you go.
That is literally it. They, and now that they wear their hair curly, they grew up in the city of Orange, and they felt that they needed to adjust and conform to being one of the only black kids at the school. They straightened their hair for many years. They got the perms and all that, straightened their hair because they were just like, I need my hair straight because everyone else has their hair straight. I went through it for a period of time as well. And then once you realize you can straighten your hair all you want, you can
still black.
You can talk as proper as you feel you want to talk. You are a black girl, and the world is going to make sure. There's some nasty people out there. There's some nasty little girls. There's some nasty people in general. They're gonna make sure you know you're a black girl.
So fortunately for Alex.
Oh, I was gonna say, so what you have to
go ahead,
do.
I'm sorry.
is they just have to learn you are a Black girl and you are also Italian, but you're living in a state, Southern California, where there are more interracial kids, which is helpful because they're going to explore themselves.
This is the magic of the internet. Lord have mercy.
It's crazy you bring it's crazy you bring that up, Simone, because I can understand that, because I have being from Philly, I have cousins that have interracial babies. But I did notice there was more of a stigma attached to Philly with interracial babies than being out here in SoCal. Like I've had friends, like I know a lot of interracial kids, and we've never had issues with it out here. I guess I grew up all around all different
Don't do
races.
Philly like that.
What? Look, as a white dude growing up in Philly, I didn't go to school with any Black kids. I didn't know any interracial marriages. My first experience of it was, to tell you the truth, my cousin, who was 20 years old, she wound up having a baby with a Hispanic dude. And that was the first experience we had as a family, as a white family, until we had an interracial child. Never had any experience other than that till I moved out here.
You know, Italians are just Black people that know how to swim, right? I'm just fucking with you. That sounds so racist. I am not editing that shit out.
I'm actually Sicilian. I'm Sicilian Italian, so I've told where Sicilians have come from. Okay. You know, whatever. Let the record show I'm a good swimmer.
To Alex and
I'm a good swimmer.
He's always like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Now let me say that shit.
Simone, don't sit back there in the cut laughing and hard as hell. Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Now, Simone, but to back on what you're saying, yes, you know, she is going to know she's a Black girl. This is always going to be a thing for her. But my feeling is she needs to know she's a girl who happens to be Black and white. Now, society is going to say, hey, you're a Black girl who happened to have a white father. And I understand that. But that doesn't mean I need to treat her that way.
Absolutely not.
I have to prepare her for that. Yes. And she's going to have, I can only prepare so much. What she's going to learn that majority of that through experience. And coming up, hey, I have questions. Why was I taught to this? What did this mean? Why they say this to me? Well, here is why, you know. But with 1 out of every 5 child being born to an interracial marriage, yes, Remel, 99% chance it won't happen in our lifetime. But that doesn't mean we as a society can't start setting it up. So in 100 years from now, outside you see a little girl first.
It all starts.
You see a little boy that's first.
It all starts in the home.
It does definitely start at home. And I'm not saying, and I'm not discouraging you, so don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to be realistic.
You couldn't discourage me anyway.
I know I can't. I know your ass is on a mission. But my point is, I want you to be realistic, Alex. I want you to teach. Listen, let me shut up. I'm not going to say that. What I'm trying to tell you is that when your daughters come out here and they encounter us, me and Simone, outside of your house with your wife, they are considered. Now we're Black, so we're looking at them. We're like, we know they're biracial, but whatever, we want to claim them, especially if they're doing the right thing, if they've got good morals, good values. Would you agree, Simone? But that's how society is going to see them. It's like,
I know that.
Whatever they view them as. And then again, for many, many years, it was, I mean, this goes back to the colorism thing. And many, many years, it's like, if you had an ounce of Black in you, you were Black. You were not able to claim your whiteness.
Because of racist America.
Because of the racist America. And now they have an opportunity to be able to claim that. But you ain't never going to be able to tell me that them 2 little girls can claim I'm white. They got to claim biracial or Black. And the reason is because that's what America is going to accept on all forms. And I'm not saying they should comply and they should do this and they should do that.
Hold on. You say America will accept.
America ain't gonna just accept them as two white
Hold
girls.
on.
They ain't gonna do
I
it.
didn't say that. Well, they're not two white girls. They're two mixed children. But look what America has accepted as far as sexual or gender in the last 5 years.
America's fucked up in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And we accept shit when we want to, but we ain't ready. They have not been ready to accept that.
That's another topic as well. That's another topic as well.
Right. So like you just said, when they're ready to. Okay. So we can't say, you know what, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because of who's in Congress and because of children like my daughter, who will then be later teenagers, you know, we don't know that things may not start to change in 5-10 years because America's finally realizing, you know what, we were really built on the back of non-whites. We stole the land from non-whites. We were able to eat 100 years ago because of non-whites. Let's be real. When are we as a country going to go, whites have done what they did. What whites did was fuck up this country.
Yes.
200, 300 years ago. Now,
and it's still fucked up.
It's still fucked up. Absolutely. But it's getting to a point now where we're like, okay, I think not to use cancel culture as an example, but people aren't liking certain things and they're going, no, we need to fix that. We as a society need to fix this shit now.
So I'm going to tell you my opinion, and the reason I agree with a lot of things you're saying, but one of the things I disagree with is that I want to claim girls like your daughter as Black. One, because they're being raised by a family, and that's going to add to the numbers for Blacks. And Blacks are a minority. So when we have better, higher numbers of better people, it makes for a better situation. Maybe. That's just my thinking. However, when, you know, we're still going to be the minority, and they're never going to get the full, and there is no real biracial race because there are so many biracial people. There's not just one. So you can't just fill out you know how long the goddamn passport form would be if
it would be crazy. I mean, you froze for a moment, so I'm just going to pick up.
You just freeze, yeah.
You know, well, interracial marriages, I mean, in the white community, Italians and Irish were considered interracial marriage in the late 18s and early 19s. Now it's like, okay, it's an Italian Irish. With white people are going, we have too many marriages like that. That can't be.
I get it.
Right. You know,
you can't blur lines with Black though. Black is blackity black. You can't blur those lines.
No, well, and I hear what you're saying. Not to,
you're Black and what else? That's what it is. You're Black and what else? You can be Black and teal. It doesn't matter what else you're mixed with, but we know you're Black.
Simone, let me ask you something.
That, they're gonna write down Black.
I will say this though. I'm not gonna say that we have not progressed at all. So for instance, I take Meghan Markle into consideration when we're talking about this topic. When you look at Meghan Markle, honestly, when somebody told me she was Black, I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay, I see it. But years ago, that would have been hid under wraps. That would have never, she can pass as like, oh, she's a white girl. She could
not pass as no damn white girl.
Meghan Markle?
Yes, she could.
I don't know what
she could.
Y'all see.
Yeah.
But for Black people from the 60s, she could not. No.
But we're not in the 60s. We're not in the 60s.
That nose and them lips. But what I'm saying is the topic, we're not. And the times have changed. And so Meghan Markle could never pass, even today, as a white woman. It just based on the standards that I know about.
I think she can.
How? Yes, she can.
Her nose doesn't say white woman. Her lips don't say white woman. What says white woman? Straight hair.
No, no, no,
Light
no. Because
skin.
when I look at her facial features, I don't necessarily just see black woman. I see there's something going on. There's something going on, but I don't see, oh, that's black for sure. With her features, I think her features are a little bit more like, not quite sure what it is, but you ain't just straight white. But I think that had that been kept under wraps, I think it could have passed for a long time. And honestly, I
I'm
think that the
sorry.
situation might be a little bit different than it is right
And
now.
Alex, I heard your little motherfucking dig about we ain't in the 60s. I'm just telling you where the standard started. We are not, this. I'm looking at Meghan Markle. That don't look like no white woman. She
Okay.
looks clearly mixed to me. And
Mixed.
based
Yes.
on
Yes.
what I've learned,
Mixed, yes.
Mixed, but I don't think she
but she
definitely.
can't pass for white.
No,
Y'all said pass for white.
I said when I look at her, I don't look at her and be like, oh yeah, she's mixed with black. I look at her, I'm just kind of like, what is she? But I don't look at her and be like, nah, she black. I don't get that from Meghan Markle, not her. There is a movie called Little White Lies on Amazon Prime. This little girl was
Okay.
raised in a white Jewish family, all white.
Yep. Great movie. True
It's a
story.
great movie, true story. When she got older, long story short, she realized she was black. Her mama had an affair with a black man. She was very fair skinned. She's about the same skin tone as some of my cousins. However, her facial features and her curly hair, it was like, how did no one question this when she was little? She did not question herself. She thought she was a white Jewish little girl all
Great
the way up until like junior high or high school when the world let her realize you're not really white.
And that's why they make movies about your ass when your family lies to you and don't tell you the truth. That's some
She-
bullshit.
Actually, she did the investigation and made the documentary herself.
Herself
And
as she got
it
older.
interviewed her family members, asking them why they kept it under wraps. Why wouldn't they tell her? Great documentary.
Mhm.
Introduction to Secrets of the Black Family. You know what? Y'all motherfuckers did not tell me. Look at this. Do you not see this? The
No.
whole
Oh, you're
time I've been talking.
Oh no.
Slow. Okay, so Alex, let's just wrap up, you guys. Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. What do you suggest is the best option for, in your opinion, as the father, for your daughters? Then I want to get your opinion on what you think, Simone, is the best being a biracial child in identifying with black, or like there is no real biracial race. That it's just too ambiguous.
Here,
So what do you?
before I answer that question, Simone, I have a question for you, because I was posed this question, not for me to answer, but it'll be something my daughters will have a question about regarding later on in their lives. Do you, or did you have an issue figuring out where you belong? Because I this girl I worked with who was black and white, she's like, she never knew where she belonged, if she belonged with the black culture, or she belonged with the white culture, or she, both of them. Where did she belong? That was the issue she said as an interracial baby. She had the hardest part dealing with or figuring out. It wasn't about friends, it was about people's, what they thought was about her own feelings inside, going, where does she belong?
So that was our struggle for many, many years, because you really don't belong. You really don't feel like you belong really with any, I don't really feel like I belong with the Mexicans. I don't really feel like I belong with the black people. And that's because you don't really feel the acceptance 100%. So what you have to do, you have to just stand strong on your own, and you have to say, I belong with both.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that had to be taught to me through my family members. Like I said, if it wasn't for one of my aunts that, since we were young, she used to be like, oh my God, love your brown skin. Oh, I love your brown skin. If it wasn't for my aunt and certain people saying different things, like, you're Mexican, right? You make sure you come see a Mexican grandma, like different stuff like that. If it wasn't for my own family accepting the fact that we were mixed, it would have been a lot harder because I would have been like, I don't really want to be brown because I'm not around, brown people, or I don't really want to be Mexican
Brown
because
skin girl.
yeah. So it starts in the household, and it's gonna be difficult. It's just gonna be difficult. But they're just gonna have to learn how to stand strong on their own and just say, I'm Black, I'm biracial, I'm Italian, I'm all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, even when people say, you're not Black though, you're mixed, they're gonna have to learn to just, okay.
It doesn't matter what they think. They have to know. I mean, they, as in the people outside, put a label on you. You just got to be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
This is what I am.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hoping, I'm praying. Like 20 years ago, your situation, your experience is going to be completely different because society has changed a lot when it comes to certain things. And I think I'm praying, years down the line, people go, you know what? Yes, they look as a child, a girl who happens to be mixed, let alone, hey, here comes a mixed girl. And I think that's where the change has to happen. Where I would like to see it happen. As society sees a little girl first who comes from a mixed parents, instead of saying, oh, here comes a mixed girl. Or a Black boy. See a boy who happens to be Black. You see a girl that happens to be Black and white, or Black and Hispanic. That's where I'm praying that happens down the line. And I would. It's because it's just it's a messed up thing. And I'm actually looking at projections and minorities and this, that. Right now, U.S. will become minority white in 2045. So they're saying in 20 years.
Oh, we're gonna all be dead. I'm sorry.
I want to be past 65. I want to be past 66.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it. Well, I'm damn sure gonna be dead in 2045. Y'all gonna be like the oldest woman in America. But Alex, I have to interject, and I want to say that I think the girls being raised in your household will be grounded very well. And I don't think you have as much to worry about as you feel like you have to worry about. And so they're going to come out here and they're going to be little mixed girls, and we're going to judge them, and we're going to decide that they're Black. And you might not like that.
Wait a minute.
At the end of the day,
how do you know that every Black person is going to consider them Black?
I don't say nothing about every Black person. I said
you said we.
And it could be
we as in who?
10% of us, 50% of us, or 100% of us. I'm just letting you know.
I will say a majority.
I'm going to say a majority. I'm not going to say every.
I'm going to say a majority.
I'm not going to say that.
Because when you say we, look, because if I said, because we, you think a white male, we as in white men.
I'm not going to assume every white man. I'm just going to assume your ass.
Okay, well then say me will consider, majority is the better word.
I know,
I would say we, because a majority of us are going to say the little Black girls. They might be little Black mixed girls. That might be the first thought. Oh, little Black mixed girls. But it's going to be the Black girls.
And I want you to make sure that I'm clear. When I speak on this podcast, I'm not speaking for nobody but my motherfucking ass. So I don't know what nobody else is going to do. But when I say we, I'm talking about
you and your multiple personalities.
Me and all three of my motherfucking personalities.
Yeah.
We're gonna all be voting. All three of us.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Me the nice
person, me the bitch, and me the one that just tries to be the savior. All three of us gonna be right there saying they Black.
I never met the nice version of you.
You didn't? You ain't gonna meet her. Keep fucking around. You never gonna meet her ass. You ain't never gonna meet her. Keep fucking around.
So I was like, I met her once. It was nice.
We first met at work, and I was like, "Oh, this is Remel. Okay, nice to meet you." And it was like, "Oh."
No, I had to turn on Remel before we even met.
I have multiple personalities. This one bitch I keep chained in the basement. She's my fourth. Don't let her out, because she will unleash you on your ass. But I want to encourage you to continue to have the conversation about what you think and how you feel as a father, because you know, that's what I know you already going to do, and you should do, but I don't want you to, I want to encourage you, but I don't want you to be jaded by the fact that you're still going to continue to encounter the color conversation. We were talking about colorism and racism. It might not even be a racist thing. It might just be a colorist thing. We're looking at like,
no, it's a racist
ain't
thing.
No regular white girls. These are some mixed girls, and we're gonna assume they're black. And so I don't know how it feels to be mixed, because I'm straight 100% blackity blackity black. So I don't know, but what I do know is what we judge, and we look at hair, we look at lips, we look at features, we look at color, we look at this, and unfortunately, identifying as simply biracial really doesn't do nothing. It's like, I'm biracial. What the fuck does that mean? It's like, it's too ambiguous, and so people generally.
And what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just deemed too ambiguous. Because do you want your daughters to just, okay, let me ask this question.
Yeah.
So you want to create a new category? Is that what you're saying? You want to create a new category saying I'm biracial, because there really is no biracial race category, because you could be black and Mexican, you could be black and Korean, you could be black and white. So to check a mark on there, of course they can say other. That's always an option. Always.
I guess because being in the entertainment industry, I always see ethnically ambiguous. Like every breakdown for an audition, ethnically ambiguous.
That's the politically correct word today.
I was going to say that is an entertainment thing, because I've never seen.
Oh, I know.
I've never seen it on not one legal document.
However, I have seen where you can choose prefer not to answer, which I did for many years. Or sometimes, you know, unless it was electronic, if it was paper, they'd be like, choose one, I choose both. Or now they do have the option that says 2 or more races, and you don't get to pick what the races are. You don't get to pick.
And that's not fair, but that's just what it is, because it's too much. If you think about it, if I had to go back and be like, I remember back in the day, and Alex, you better not say a motherfucking thing. We ain't in the 60s. When back in the day, people used to be like, what's your family mixed with? It'd be like Indian and black. We all wanted to claim something. And so it's nice to identify with a side. However, for many, many years, I would never say my family, Cherokee, Indian, and black. That was some bullshit. I'm like, I'm black. And I identify with that because that's what I am. And I identify with it because I'm proud. And it's not any slight to any other part of my heritage, whether it be a white man that had sex with my great aunt Sally and my cousin, this and that. It's not a slight to that. So we have to remember that because people identify with something different, it's not a disrespect to the other.
Yes.
Understandable.
But being mixed with black and anything, naturally in the society, you're going to want to be like, distance yourself from the black, because black is not good. But now we're learning, accept it.
But you just said something, Simone, that that bugs me a little bit. To say black isn't good.
Well, that's the way we grew up. That's the way my mom
and
my aunts grew up.
And that's because of the history of America. And it's a fucked up situation where I think in 100, I'm hoping, and none of us will know, in 100, 200 years from now, the white culture is starting to go, you know, look, our rhythm comes from black culture. Our music comes from black culture. Mm-hmm. Let's go all the way back to Elvis. Mm-hmm. You know, even before that, you know, with the big band era, you know, and then you have people that like Eminem. Mm-hmm. But then you also have people like Slash for Guns N' Roses, you know. So I think a lot of us are starting to realize that let's talk music for real quick. A lot of hip hop nowadays, as garbage as it is, you see more diversity nowadays than you did 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, so what's to say, you know what? As I'm reading the census, minorities are going to be white by 2045 in the United States, who knows where that's going to go? Who knows down the line? I understand, you wanting to fit it. You want to identify, where there's a lot of pride in the Black community with skin color. We're proud of who we are. We're proud of where we came from. It's fucked up that we grew up in a country that we didn't want to be in the beginning, at first.
We had to learn to be proud of it.
Right. Forced to be here. But now with BLM and all these pride movements, we don't know where it's going to go. And I'm not saying, my daughter should go, hey, I am proud to be Black. Fuck yeah. Be proud to be Black. Be proud to be white. Be proud to be Black. Be proud to be Hispanic. 20 years ago, you as a child, it's a different time and era than it is nowadays. And depending upon where you grow up in the country is going to be your experience. Being in SoCal, good.
And I think that, so 20 years ago, I was a young child. It was different than it is now. 20 years from now, when your children are older, it's going to also be different.
Oh, yeah.
However, at that point in time, I also don't see it ever being a point in 20 years that they'll be able to go out and not be looked at as a Black girl.
I think maybe not them, but I think their children could. The possibility they be a girl, because if, let's say, in 40 years, 50 years from now, if the majority of people in this country are what's considered people of color, why are we going to point that out? Why are we going to go, hey, that's a Black girl, and even though she's mixed, but majority of people.
You have to realize when it comes to color and skin tone and all that, that's also not just an American thing.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's actually a worldwide thing.
Oh yeah, it's a lot worse in other countries.
I was about to say that it's colorism and all that. It's not just American. I would say America is probably one of the most racist countries in the world. However, when it comes to what you look like when you step outside that door, that is a worldwide thing. There are people across the world that are lightening their skin tone. There are cultures and ethnicities that don't want to touch the sun. They don't want the sun to touch them.
Wait a minute. Did you hear what the hell he just said? Were you listening?
Nope.
No, I was
Alex be on
I didn't hear what I said. I didn't hear what I said.
We got to play it back.
He said, I'm like, what the fuck?
What? Okay. I still understand. But
okay, you take a listen to when you replay this shit. You gonna hear it.
I got to replay it. But yeah, so like colorism is across the world, and so I think it may take more than just 40 years to get rid of. Well, when you step outside the door, you're something beyond.
Oh, it's definitely going to. I'm saying I think it'll change by then, because the minorities will be white.
We'll have people living on the goddamn moon before when you step out the door. It ain't nobody talking about your color. But what we can do, I believe, is continue to encourage our children to embrace their heritage, love them as much as we can, teach them about both sides, and then just show them support, because they're gonna need it. You already know those kids gonna need it. They go to school and some white kids gonna be real random and be like, what are you? And it's gonna be like, or their parents are gonna teach them some kind of hate, and those kids are gonna need every bit of support. So, and it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen in their upbringing. These are the formative years for your kids, Alex. And so unfortunately, what you're just going to have to continue to do, you and Aisha, is just going to have to continue to do the best job that you can, because I know y'all will, and I know y'all are doing it, and hope for the best, hope for the best, but prepare for the not so best, and make sure the girls are prepared for that. And I love this conversation about what color is interracial considered. And I'm saying everybody black. Oh, we all black. Well, isn't that what they say the Eve gene was? Was she black too?
Right.
Oh, well, the black. Don't do it. Don't y'all do it.
I skipped over that page of the Bible.
Okay, so I was told real quick, and I don't have no history on this, but I was told that the Eve gene is considered that she was a black woman and that the only black women can create every color. Like, imagine that. A white woman can't create no black kids, but a black woman can create some white looking kids. And so, therefore, we're all black. We don't all want to embrace that. And I know it's going to be a whole lot of white people. I ain't listening to this shit no more. You black, baby. Get it together. But I'm joking.
Well,
I'm serious.
Here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. You bring that up, where there's a book that I read. It's called "Eat Right for Your Blood Type."
Right.
And are you familiar with the book?
I've seen the book. I've heard a little bit about the book.
So the intro of the book talks about how different blood types developed, and actually talked about how different skin tones developed as well, and how the blood types develop because of skin tone, and over how years upon years of migrating the origins of human existence out of Africa up to Siberia or down to Asia. That's what really developed all the different skin tones to be able to deal with different type of weather patterns. So yes, origins of humans do have dark skin. Mm-hmm. So yes, we all do come from, as a white person, I'm going to get hung for this. No pun intended. No word intended. But we all come from a black man and woman. Skin tones developed over decades, millennials, thousands and thousands of years as we migrate to Siberia because of the weather. The black skin can't handle cold as well as white skin.
White skin don't necessarily like it either, but
I didn't say like it. I said handle it.
Right. I feel you. And I agree with everything you said.
Vice versa. That's vice versa. The white skin can't handle the hot and the sun.
Nah, fuck that shit.
That's
so.
I love my black ass. Love being in the sun, but
dude, my wife had needed toe socks at 90 degrees in Jamaica.
What the fuck?
Don't even. That's a whole other conversation. Don't even. That's a whole.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, but I'm gonna leave that alone for today.
Yeah.
But it has been my pleasure to talk with my people here today about a topic that's very important on Shit Your Mama Should Have Told You and more. And we're gonna leave you with we'll be back, and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. What else are we on, y'all? And any podcast,
MySpace,
you can think of.
MySpace.
I'm getting ready to fuck Alex up as soon as we get off here because he's talking so old shit.
We'll drop the aim.
Right. MySpace. I can't stand your ass. Anyway, it's been a great topic. And if there's anybody out there that needs to talk to somebody about identification or whatever, we always have a back channel available of psychiatrists or therapists who can talk to you about something that may be troubling you.
Yes.
That's some serious shit, ain't it?
No, that is great. Actually, that would be great.
Not would be, that is. The fuck you
and that is great.
On the internet. I just said it. You talking about that would be great. That's real.
No. I meant like you.
I mean, I think she meant for her own mind. She spoke out loud when she was trying to speak in inner monologue.
Oh, that would be great. Some assistance.
I did. Look, for real, I did. Okay, 10, 15 years ago, I needed some assistance. So that is great.
So we're gonna have another episode. Like, this was very impromptu. I had basically got mad and I was like, we can't do this shit. We ain't got all of our equipment, but it's been it's as always, it's a great conversation with them. And if there's anything we left out, you can comment and let us know. And thanks for listening. Simone, Alex, Remel out.
For families that have interracial children, you have to just make sure that they know you're this, you're that, you're all that in between, whatever it is. And when you walk outside that door, when you start getting the questions that you're going to get,
No firsthand.
stand strong and don't fold. But you can't be like, well, I'm not a black girl, bitch.
If you black, you black. There's no way around that. You can say you're not black, but ain't no way that other people, somebody gonna say there's a black girl. One day your shit is gonna be called out.
Yeah.
And usually they call it out because they want to diminish who you are or what you are.
Yeah.
But you have to stand strong in everything that you are. And if black is part of your background, then you black doesn't mean that you're not also white. It just means that you're black.
Yes.
So embrace it, baby.
Love it.